First, we will start with a basic drawing of our sites and our buildings using polylines. In our case, we have two sites. Each polyline represents a building part. For example, building A has a ground level, a podium, and a tower. Make sure polylines are closed. To do that, you can go to Properties, MISC, and turn it to Yes. Our next step is to open Planary. We'll go to Agile Form tab and click on the Planary icon. I'm going to organize Planary and AutoCAD to be side by side that I can see and work on both. Our next step is to add our first site. So I'm going to Planary browser, right click and add a site. I'll go back to AutoCAD and select our property line. And here we have our site. Under properties, we can give the name, zoning, ownership, and extra information. We also have the site area. So now we're going to create our building. I'm going to the site, right click, and add building. We can add as many buildings as we want. I'm going to click on the new building and rename it. I'm going to call it Building A. Now I'm going to click on the Building A. I'm going to right click and add the building part. I'll go back to AutoCAD and pick a first polyline. The first one will be on ground level. I'll click on the building part and under properties, I'm going to rename it, call it ground floor. I can give it number of floors, floor height, use, in our case it's going to be a retail, and also a building section. This building part belongs to the podium. So it does include in the total floor area, but it does not contain residential units. So I'm going to uncheck the residential unit, and I also have the floor area. So I'm going to add another building part on top. I'm going to right click, go back to AutoCAD and pick the polyline. As you can see, it's added on top of the ground level. And now I can go to the properties and rename it. I'm going to call it a podium. And I can also change the number of floors, the floor height. And I'm going to say this one is residential and it's also a podium. So it does include in the TFA and it does contain residential units. So I'm going to leave it checked. And now on top of the podium, we have the tower. So I'm going to right click on the podium and add a new building part. I'll go back to AutoCAD and select the tower. So I'm going to do the same thing under properties. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to call it tower. I'm going to give it number of floors, floor height, use. It's going to be a residential and also building section. So we created our first building. I'm going to add a new building the same way as we did for building A. And also assign uses and floors. So far, we have one site that includes two buildings. Building A that have ground level, on top of it we have podium, and on top of the podium we have a tower. And building B with podium and top floors. On the right, we have the analysis dashboard. Here we can find the total floor area, the GFA, the site area, the FSI, the BCR, the height, the number of stories, the net sellable area, units, parking, and cost. The cool thing is that we can always go back to AutoCAD, change and adjust our polylines, and it automatically will change the statistics and the 3D representation. On our site, we also have an option to create lands and land uses. To do that, we simply right-click on the site, and instead of building, we're gonna choose land. And we go back to AutoCAD and select a polyline. Under properties, we can name it, give it a thickness, and use. Next to the analysis tab, we have the area distribution. Here we can see the building space distribution, land uses, by area and by percentage. On the browser, next to each building, site, or land, we have a checkbox. That way, by checking or unchecking, we can exclude or include our buildings or our sites from the total calculation and when we export data and masses. To create more sites, we're gonna right-click on the browser and add site. We're gonna create buildings the same way as we did previously. Under Options, Preferences, we can customize the project parameters. We can change the efficiency for the GFA and the cell efficiency for the net sellable area. We can change area units and length, average unit size, parking space ratio, and cost. We can also customize our building spaces and land uses. We can rename or create new building spaces, assign colors, or delete by clicking on the garbage bin. Same thing for the building sections and land uses. To export data to Excel, we go to File, Export, Excel data file, and we'll save it. Planary will create an Excel sheet of our project, summarize the statistics, give us a breakdown of our sites and our buildings. Thanks for watching. If you need any help or support, you are more than welcome to visit our website.